has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast. All right, hour 3 of Coast to Coast. Good to have you with us. Make sure you get the SportsGrid app on iOS or Android. It's free. You're going to love it. Follow your favorite hosts like Kim, Stewart, and see everything. Odds, in-game odds, stories, highlights, scores. It's got it all. You can watch the network on there in HD, and you can listen to the network on the app as well. I think you're going to love it. Get it in the App Store on iOS or Android in the Play Store, and it's free, like I said, and free as me. All right, we're with the Prime Minister today. Thank God, as usual, we're lucky enough to be graced with his presence on C2C in the midst of all of his busy, hectic schedule running Canada and taking part in worldly affairs. And the fact that he has a gambling problem makes him quite unique to us and huge fans of his work. Most bet tickets to win the Super Bowl. Let's start with that. Where are people spending their money on the Chiefs, Lions, Ravens, Niners, and Eagles?
I don't like to see the Lions at that percentage, but you know what? Why stop betting the Chiefs? You know, like it's just one of those things. They'll find a way, like just like winning in Baltimore. Like, oh yeah, they're done. Like they're never done. They're like the Undertaker. They come back after death. What do you think is the best value on the board? People are getting sick of the Niners. Yeah, you know what? Scott, your Packers are a very interesting story as a long shot, but I'll take the Jets at 3.8%. I like that. Nobody believes in them.
So listen, I do not believe that they're going to win it again. No team has ever done it. I think they'll have something happen, whether it's, and I hope that it does happen. I hope that injuries cause them to miss their chance. You heard me. I hope that they have injuries and miss their chance to play in another Super Bowl. I am sick and tired of them. I hate them. My uncle lived there. He passed. My aunt lives there. She's the biggest Chiefs fan in the world. I hate her too. I just wanted to say. So I screw all of them. I'm done with it. If I had to go to New Orleans and talk about this team again for a week, I'd rather have someone stab me in the eyeballs with a pitchfork. So I hope Mahomes actually goes down and can't play. And that'll be that. And they're not going to win anything. And everyone loses all their money. How's that sound for Grim Reaper? Anyone but them. Anyone but them.
I'm with you.
I don't give a rat's ass what anyone thinks of me either. Like, people are always like, oh, did he just wish injury on someone? I'm like, yes, I did. Because I've always said on this show and anywhere else, and I don't care who's listening or watching, if you want to win the Super Bowl, do what the Bears did in '85. Kill the quarterback. Kill the quarterback, ragdoll his ass, injure his ass, pick him up and body slam him on his head. And if he can't play, you win the game. And that's how they won every single game. They hurt the other quarterback, and they knocked out all their best players with violence and physicality. I have no problem saying it. Destroy, seek and destroy. When the Steelers play the Ravens, and I go to the games, my goal is to have Lamar Jackson's head taken off. I think I'm there to give him a kiss. I'm there to give him Christmas presents. I hope they take his head off. Kill him. Kill the quarterback. Win the game. I hope someone kills Mahomes. And while they're at it, I hope they take out his wife, too. I'm sick of her loud mouth.
She's an absolute speed bag. But I'll tell you, as Prime Minister, I have a new petition. It's in. Bring back bounties. It is done. Bang.
Yes.
Buddy Ryan, you're right.
Why do you think they did it?
I know
it's true.
Hey, look at hockey, man. You don't think all the slew footing and all this stuff to get rid of top players? This has been going on forever. If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Right. All right. Here's the biggest liabilities for the Super Bowl for the books. Go figure.
God.
Lions, Chiefs, Jets, Steelers, Ravens. I do not believe for 1 minute on hell frozen over that the Steelers are going to the Super Bowl with this team that they have. I'm sorry. They look pathetic to me, and I'll believe it when I see it. Juju Smith-Schuster says it's too early to tell if he can play in week 1 for Kansas City. Here's a news flash for you, everyone. He's finished.
Yeah. You don't think you bring another player like Juju Smith-Schuster? Who cares, bro? Like, you're done. Like, I'm with you. It's not even a story to me. You got Xavier Worthy.
The Pats owe him $7 million, and they said, we'll give you your $7 million. Please just get out.
Yeah,
you suck. You have nothing left. And he's got a bad knee.
Yeah, what is he, like the fourth option?
They signed P. Ryan to their active roster. I think they also got Bailey Zappi. He went to everyone's going to the Chiefs.
Of course.
Cam's going to sign with the Chiefs tomorrow.
Never. It's in my contract. That team has been torturing me since the Christian Okoye Nigeria nightmare days. But I do love Derek Thomas, even though he killed my quarterback, Dave Craig, with 10 sacks in a game. God rest his soul. He was my favorite Chief.
He was a great player. Screw the Chiefs. Dalvin Cook signed with the Cowboys. He's now on his 15th team in 4 weeks. Boston Scott joins the Steelers practice squad. He only does well when he played for the Eagles. Wasn't that who he played for? And no one could stop him?
Correct.
Sterling Shepard stays in Tampa on the practice squad. He's another guy that's shot. The Bills signed quarterback Mike White to the practice squad. Frank Gore Jr. re-signed to go to the practice squad as well. Tim Patrick joins the Lions practice squad. The Jets signed safety Lewis Seen, a first-round pick in 22, to the practice squad. The Broncos GM praises Zach Wilson, who's now their third stringer, saying he will be a starter in this league. Bullshit. Yeah. Titans are trading Elijah Molden, a starter for most of last season, to the Chargers for a late-round pick. And Travis Kelce buys a stake in a racehorse named Swift Delivery, if you can believe it. Not bad for a guy that just the day before signed a $100 million podcast deal. What are we doing wrong in our careers, Cam? Honestly.
Lots. Apparently lots. Me and you were not the luckiest bunch. I'll tell you one thing, though. Bob Baffert and those guys, they see Kelce walking in the paddock, blow dart. Hey, you don't mess with the horse club. You get my drip, buddy, Swift Delivery? No, stick to football, pal. I owned a horse, me and Gabe. Yeah, that was a fun proposition. It was we lost every cent we had. Next.
No, didn't I? I think I asked somebody yesterday, maybe it was Joe, but I'm going to ask you, do you think he'll marry her? Do you think he'll get married to her?
Nope. I think this is one of her longer relationships, but when she needs new material about some guy that did her wrong, the party's over. I'm going to say no on marriage. Let's put up the odds board.
Would it be great if they broke up and she started singing songs that jinxed the Chiefs?
Yes.
And they never won another game?
That's what I'm waiting for. Why didn't you do it before the Niners Super Bowl? Come on.
All right. Here's the best college football Thursday odds. Board one we have for games. You see them: New Hampshire, Central Florida, Western Carolina, NC State, Missouri's game, Kansas's game. Any of those that you like, Cam?
Murray State, plus 47.5. Got an inside tip from a Mizzou grad. Says a lot of respect for their program. Maybe winning by like 38 or whatever. Too many points. But I got to tell you, Scott, look at these odds. 40.5, 32. Now we need something a little bit tighter, please. No money lines.
All right, let's go to board number 2, where we have North Carolina at Minnesota. Old Mac Brown, he's 105, still coaching. North Dakota State against Prime, certainly not the Prime Minister, the other Prime, which is the phony one, out at Boulder. And then Southern Utah at Rice Eccles to take on the Utes and Cam Rising, who's on his third wife and his 13th year in college football.
I love that guy. Yeah, he just keeps on coming back. Give me Minnesota. The Golden Gophers at home. They're just going to try to run the ball down North Carolina's throat right now. I lean North Dakota State against Colorado. Should be an interesting game. Over 59.5. No real opinion on Southern Utah. Probably Utes by 45.
Do we have the board for Friday's games? We can at least look at it, right? Any of those stand out to you right there? You can all see them. We're looking at the same thing. What do you think, Cam?
I like Michigan State and Florida Atlantic over the number. Oklahoma should just absolutely kill Temple, maybe by 60. That's it. And get TCU will probably cover. Tough games, though.
TCU will cover at Stanford. So we do have other games to talk about, and we'll push those down until later. Coming up, Keith Stewart from Read the Line. I'm going to do a double shot with him talking the Tour Championship.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
We're into a different regime, different ownership, different head coach. I like the head coach. Dan Quinn is a good football man. He has been around where he's been. They have won. Yes, he's had some talent there.
I'm incredibly excited for what this brings to the team. The defense, I think, is underrated. I think this is a good football team. And also, you talk about extending drives. I think Daniels has that ability. And that's something that hasn't been seen in Washington for quite some time.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Unbelievable that I have Stewie on, Keith Stewart from Read the Line, the guru of golf. He already filed a protest that I was replacing Carver High on the double shot golf interview today. He's already filed that protest with the league office, but I'm going to do my best. Let's start with this. Keith, first of all, good to see you. And for fans, you can follow him. He's unbelievable betting on golf. I mean, this guy hits more golf tournaments than he does golf balls. You can follow him at KJ Stewart PGA on X, and you can do that for free, and he'll give you all of his glory and wisdom and picks and winners, and not only golf tournament winners, but, you know, top fives, top tens, first round leaders, you name it. And he does it on both tours. He'll do it on the ladies' side, the men's side. Hell, he'll even do the live side. He does it all. So you had Coe at the Women's British Open on Sunday at plus 2,500. You cashed that ticket as well.
You know, Scotty, what an unbelievable introduction. Next thing I know, I think you're going to ask me to the prom. That was fantastic. I love it. Hey, if I don't pass out from this Atlanta heat, maybe it was Lydia Ko on Sunday finishing that thing off over at St. Andrews in Scotland. Our 10th outright at Read the Line for the year. We had Adam Scott in the afternoon. Unfortunately, his putter didn't get the memo. We didn't cash there, but Lydia Ko gave us number 10 at Read the Line. It's Golf Wednesday. What do you need from me? Let me give it to you.
I mean, 10 outright wins this year is top shelf status. No one in golf has come close to 10 outright winners. It is crazy. And he's done all of it on SportsGrid. By the way, that was a really ballsy pick with Adam Scott. And he's been playing great. I mean, he's been playing great for a couple months now, the old guy, with his long-ass putter. Where has this come from that he's having these types of rounds and finishes?
Well, I tell you, you know, Adam, I know his manager very well, and I've spoken to him. And coming into this season, he was trying to figure out, you know, how I'm going to get in all. He wasn't in all of the majors, and he currently has the longest streak at 92 majors in a row. So he needed to find something to inspire him, to motivate him. and he really put the time in the offseason, and he came out hot in Q1. He had a bunch of top 10s. We were talking about betting him in some different places. He got quiet in the middle of the season, but in the last 6 weeks, I mean, runner-up in Scotland at the Genesis Invitational, then a top 10 at Royal Troon in the bad weather of the Open Championship, right into the playoffs. You know, you're talking about golf courses where you really have to drive the golf ball well. And with that Tiger Woods style golf swing from back in 2000, man, the prettiest man alive on a golf course on the PGA Tour, Adam Scott, he puts the ball in play off the tee. His iron game has come around, and the broomstick has been good, Scotty, a lot. It just was only fair on Sunday, which is too bad. But Captain Keegan is a great win. It's tough to root against him. I mean, I was rooting for Adam Scott at plus 5,500.
Right.
I got to be honest. But at the end of the day, at least it wasn't, one of these guys that wins all the time. It was Captain Keegan. And I mean, who could be happier than the PGA of America selecting him as the Ryder Cup captain? And this guy's going to play his way on to the President's Cup squad.
Yeah, like, how about the guy is the captain of the Ryder Cup, and he goes out, and he's always been that East Coast golfer, right? He's always tough in East Coast tournaments. But the guy shows up, and he waltzes out with $3.6 million in 4 days of work. I mean, he doesn't win that kind of money. It's been a long time since he's seen that kind of money.
Well, you know what? He won the BMW back in Philly a couple of years ago, the same round of the playoffs. So maybe he likes BMWs. I don't know. But the fact is, in Memphis, they cut from 70 players to 50 players in this playoff FedEx Cup system, whatever you want to call it. He was the 50th guy in. Tom Kim went bogey, double bogey. He's out. I mean, all these guys dropped out of the top 50. Keegan gets in his number 50. He was the last ranked guy going into Denver last week at Castle Pines Golf Club, and the guy wins. It's an unbelievable story. Now all of a sudden, he could win again this week, and we see this a lot in the playoffs. Over the years, 17 years of the FedEx Cup playoffs, 12 times we've seen a repeat winner where a guy wins more than one of these playoff legs. And I tell you what, sitting in fourth place with this stupid staggered start that they have with the strokes and everything, Keegan could take this thing all the way to Royal Montreal. And then, he was an assistant captain on Jim Furyk's President's Cup team that's happening next month. Now, all of a sudden, he's got to pick him, and he probably needs to find another assistant captain. What an unbelievable story in golf.
So what's the deal with Jay Monahan and the Saudis and all these negotiations? About a deal. Is it going to happen or not?
Well, Scotty, timing is everything in life. And today was his State of the Union address. This is supposed to be their Super Bowl week. And Jay did a wonderful job of explaining absolutely nothing. He was asked very direct questions. And once again, he went into the pomp and circumstance of all of this. Scotty, you asked me a question. I say, Scotty, it's a very thoughtful question. We are really concerned with what's happening with the schedule. We are really concerned with this, but I can't tell you anything. And I know what? The players are fed up. I'm out here all the time. You know that. I'm down in Atlanta right now. And the players just don't even pay attention anymore. But what I worry about are the fans. The fans have no idea what's going on. They're doing rinse, rewind, repeat on the same schedule as this year. The guys look tired at the end of the year. I mean, honestly, he had an opportunity today to say something really, really poignant and meaningful, and he didn't really say anything. And, hey, I'm picking on Jay, it sounds like, but it's all the talking heads there. I don't understand why they aren't more transparent about why the PIF and that money could do so much for golf and what the path would be back for Bryson and everybody else. Everybody wants Bryson back. And you know what? They should do it.
Real quick, respectfully, I got 30 seconds. You told me about the course redesign at Eastlake. Can you tell people about that?
Okay, Andrew Green, architect. He took the golf course from a par 70 Donald Ross layout. He's enhanced it. It's now a par 71. He added about 150 yards. The guys are raving about it. The only problem is that when you do this, when you remove all the grass and you put it back within 12 months, the playing surfaces are super firm, and you're going to see that reflected in my betting card.
When we come back, we'll look at the limited field, 30 golfers. We'll explain everything, and Keith will give you all of his snags for the Tour Championship.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
We're into a different regime, different ownership, different head coach. I like the head coach. Dan Quinn is a good football man. He has been around where he's been. They have won. Yes, he's had some talent there.
I'm incredibly excited for what this brings to the team. The defense, I think, is underrated. I think this is a good football team. And also, you talk about extending drives. I think Daniels has that ability. And that's something that hasn't been seen in Washington for quite some time.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
I got to tell you that, of course, Keith Stewart, read the line, badass. He's usually talking to Carver High about golf, but, I love golf too. At one point, I was a 6 handicap, Stewie, and I turned a 76 at the Bob Hope in Palm Springs, and there were witnesses. I've also I've golfed in a million pro-ams back in the day. When I lived in California, I golfed a lot, right? I played all the time. I played 5 or 6 days a week, and I was a really good golfer. When I live in New York City, I never golf. I play basketball. I don't golf anymore. I went out and played a couple of courses. I turned an 85. I turned an 88. I can play. I can hit the ball. But my son now, I told you, has taken over the game. He loves playing. He plays every week. He plays all the time. He literally played this summer almost every day, and he's getting better and better and better. And if you play every day and you live in Southern California, you can see your scores start dropping and turn yourself into a golfer. I think golfing is playing all the time, and you're in Hot Town right now. It's hot as Haiti. It's 100 degrees. It's going to be steamy ass morsels for the Tour Championship. How is that going to affect this tournament this weekend? I mean, it's just brutal heat. We saw it in Memphis. I saw them golfing, and they were dying.
Oh, I mean, I was there too. I mean, Carver on Golf Wednesday, he had to resuscitate me. It was so hot, and it's equally as hot now. This tie, it's choking me out, but that's all right. I do it for the folks at SportsGrid. And here's what's going to happen. We are down at East Lake Golf Club. It's the Tour Championship, 30 players, and they start with strokes. I know it's something new and everything, but forget all that for a second. They've completely redone the golf course. And with the heat and the humidity and redoing an entire golf course, removing all the grass and bringing it back, what happens, folks, is that without any rain, it becomes a very, very firm surface. So what we're looking for this week, if you're building out your own betting card, is you're looking for guys that can hit the fairway. Because if you don't hit the fairway and you're in that Bermuda grass rough, you have no chance of holding these greens on approach. Once you're in the fairway, you're trying to hit these greens. Now, the new greens, they are super, super firm. They are like a brick. So a lot of the even good shots are going to roll through the green. So as you build out those betting cards, and you'll see by who I've picked, that you got to have guys that have a little bit of acumen around the green. That's a fancy thing for saying, hey, you got to save par or score with that short game. And this Bermuda grass, it's super grainy down here. It's a weed. You got to be able to putt on it, which is why I have 2 guys selected. Now, there's two types of tournaments this week. The first one is the FedEx Cup. That is the guy that wins everything, $25 million for first, and that includes the starting strokes. I'm taking Xander Schauffele for that. Yes, I know. I'm giving up 2 strokes to Scotty Scheffler, but his form hasn't nearly been as strong as Xander, and Xander loves this place. He's been here 7 times, and he's been the low gross player 3 times with a win. He's never finished worse than 7th. You got to bank on him. Now, on the other tournament, the shadow tournament they call it, where everyone starts at even par, there's 2 guys I like. Xander's one of them. I'm going there again. I am just pushing the chips in on him because he loves this place and because with the firmness of the greens, he is the best scrambler in the world. He's still going to continue to score. The other guy further down the board, Sam Bermuda Burns, plus 2,200. Back in Minnesota in the 3M, he finishes 13th. Then all of a sudden he gets in the playoffs. St. Jude at the Hey Jude, he goes 5th place. Bermuda grass greens, Bermuda Burns, cashes in, makes some birdies. Then last week in Denver, runner-up out there at Castle Pines in the BMW. Guy runs off with an X7. I mean, he's runner-up. Fantastic. I love him coming into this place. He was 4th here last year. Those are my outright picks.
All right, what about your top finisher picks, top 10s?
Okay, I've got a couple top 10s and everybody, hey, Keith, why not top 10s and top 40s? There's only 30 guys playing, so pay attention. Ready? Top 10s. I love Billy Horschel. He's great on Bermuda grass, and he's trying to be a captain's pick for that President's Cup team coming up next month. He's got a great short game, and ever since he's got 3 top 10s in his last 4 starts. And the other guy, Justin Thomas, don't forget about him. 7 starts here. He's never finished worse than 9th. So JT loves this place. He's also great putting on Bermuda grass and chipping around these new greens. I like those 2 guys. A couple quick head-to-heads because I know we're running short on time. The first one, Shane Lowry over Sahith Theegala. Theegala's, his right arm's hurt a little bit. He's already qualified for the President's Cup team. He's got no reason to push himself this week. And the other guy, Xander over Scotty. The 2 big boys, they're facing off. Forget the gold medal. Forget the green jacket. Xander won the PGA. He won the Open Championship, and he's winning the FedEx Cup.
I thought Horschel played great at Troon, too, and that's kind of when he started playing really good golf.
That's one of those 3 top 10s in his last 4 starts. Awesome.
I like your guy, Bermuda Burns at plus 2,200. Stewie, you're the best, man. Thanks for giving us all the Skinny on the Tour Championship. Try to stay in the air conditioning sun and get a beverage.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
We're into a different regime, different ownership, different head coach. I like the head coach. Dan Quinn is a good football man. He has been around where he's been. They have won. Yes, he's had some talent there.
I'm incredibly excited for what this brings to the team. The defense, I think, is underrated. I think this is a good football team. And also, you talk about extending drives. I think Daniels has that ability. And that's something that hasn't been seen in Washington for quite some time.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
strangely enough, we bring back the prime minister, and we'll get his glorious golf picks in a minute, even though we just got done with Stewie, and we should probably keep rolling with the golf picks. I still want to finish off where we were with Prime Minister Stewart on college football, and then we'll get into his golf picks. So let's go back to college football. These are Saturday's best games, the top 25 odds for Saturday. Here's board one for you. You see the games. We see the games. Everyone sees the games. What do you like there, Cam? Anything stand out to you?
I'm actually thinking about taking Clemson right now. I hope it gets to 14. I think they can play with Georgia. I remember the last time Penn State and West Virginia fought. It was an absolute dogfight. It got ugly. I'm looking at the Mountaineers plus the points. That should be interesting. Iowa, Illinois State. I think over. I know everyone thinks about Iowa as an under team, but I think they can get their total. I think they could score like 30, 31 there, maybe more. Chattanooga, Tennessee, no opinion. Oklahoma State, I lean that way at -9.5. But what do you think, Scott? Do you think West Virginia's a live home dog? And I'm thinking about taking Clemson as a pooch.
Well, listen, I think Oklahoma State should handle their business in Stillwater. I think Penn State will roll into Morgantown. I think they're too talented and too physical, too fast for West Virginia. I think that West Virginia team's a relative mess. You know, Morency's convinced Clemson's going to cover against Georgia. We'll see how that goes. Iowa, I don't think Iowa can score 22 points. They still have the
against Illinois State. They can. Hey, Ferentz got rid of his own kid, right? The bottom line is this is like Iowa is a gritty team or whatever. You're right. It's old school, but I look at that total and people are thinking, oh, that's the old Iowa team. Like Illinois State, like no. Iowa can Iowa can crush these guys. They might. I think they will score. I think they'll score way over 22 points, Scotty. I think they get like 30, maybe 35.
All right, 35 I can live with being way over. All right, let's go to board number 2 of the college football games. Here you go. Akron, look at that number, 48.5 at Ohio State. Texas laying 31.5. Miami laying 2.5. Bama laying 31.5. And Ole Miss laying 42.5. Be careful of Furman. But the one I'm interested in is your thoughts on Miami and Florida. Morency said Gators will win in the swamp outright.
I was looking at the Gators, but Miami's a lot better of a team. This is a huge, huge game for both teams. Right now, I haven't clicked the button yet, Scott, but I'm looking at the Gators. Kind of like the under 54.5 as well. I think it's going to be more defensive than people think, but that's where I'm going with that game. Right now, I lean Florida. I don't know how you feel. I know you like the Hurricanes. They probably let you down a lot in your life, but a lot of people like Florida, and that's kind of scary.
Well, they've let me down for the last 24 years, but prior to that, they never let me down, and I got 5 national championship rings out of it. So, I've been a fan of the Canes for almost 50 years, and I know that they have a great quarterback, and they are loaded with talent. I mean, honestly, they say that Cristobal had the number one, transfer portal team in the country. They have all 5-star guys there now playing. If they don't win this year, they're never going to win. Honestly, they're loaded. And I think this guy Ward can light up Florida. I think Florida sucks, and I think their coach is going to get fired this year because their schedule is so brutal. There is no way they're winning games. Their schedule is the hardest schedule in the country. Florida Gators have the hardest schedule in America. All right, let's go to the third board. Here we go. K-State laying 37.5. Oregon laying 44.5. How about Notre Dame, A&M? A&M laying 2.5. Michigan laying 20.5. And Arizona laying 31.5. I don't think they can cover that number against Mendenhall's Lobos. They covered for me last week, getting 13.5. Now you're giving me 31.5. I don't know if Arizona is going to be as good as everybody thinks they are. And who do you like in Notre Dame and A&M?
What a great game. I'm looking at A&M right now, the team that's generally disappointed. These are very, very difficult games, Scott. I'm kind of with you with New Mexico. I was on them too last week. I'm like, yeah, like you're giving me that many points against an FBS school. I'll take it. I lean A&M. Huge game for both teams. I know a lot of people are high on Notre Dame, but I think A&M could squeak this one out. I haven't locked in these bets. I'm going to see where the money moves, but right there. Also, I think Michigan, even though Harbaugh's gone, I think they murder Fresno State.
Yeah, they're going to murder Fresno State as sure as I'm sitting here. So let's go to the Sunday game in Vegas that Morency's going to be at. LSU and USC. There it is. LSU, it was at 6. Now it's down to 4.5. 64.5 is the total.
You tell me, Scott. At first, I was thinking LSU, and then I'm thinking, isn't this the same team that loses their openers all the time
Every year.
Disappoint every single year? USC's not really getting the respect they deserve. I guess the line move is concerning, but I lean Trojans in this spot. Everybody and their mother is going to be on the over, but how do you not? Like, you look at these defenses and these prolific offenses, but we'll see. I lean USC right now. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I don't feel like the LSU has a prolific offense when they lost Daniels and Neighbors, and you just don't replace guys that are that good. I don't buy their quarterback, and I'll see if they're as good as they always get hyped to be. They're always ranked. They're always this and that. And, Brian Kelly has gone down there, and so far he hasn't done anything. That's just all there is to it. I don't care what anybody says. BC and Florida State on Labor Day. This one in Tallahassee, I believe. And they're laying 16 and a hook. 50 and a hook is the number. They've had problems with BC in the past, and they're coming off a humbling loss to Georgia Tech in Dublin last weekend.
I'm going to tell you, Scott, this is what we talk about with overreactions in the market. I think it's a great way to look at it as a gambling tool. A lot of people are going to go, wow, these guys suck. They lost to Georgia Tech. Well, Georgia Tech's getting better all the time. I think they actually cover this number. DJ's got to be better at the quarterback position. Their defense was horrid against Georgia Tech, but I don't think Boston College's offense is going to do anything in that game. I think the Noles cover and win that game by 24.
All right, let's watch out for some of the big numbers in week 1. We have a graphic about big numbers. Here we go. Since 05, college football favorites of 45 or more are 71, 97, and 1, 42% against the spread. Of course, Ohio State laying at 48.5. I want nothing to do with games, frankly, anywhere over the number, I'm going to say 35. Anything over 35, I'm not going into those woods.
Yeah, for me, Scott, it's around like 27.5, 28. I feel the same way. I don't like spreads that are too high. And the problem is Ohio State in their mood, they can name their number against the Akron Zips, right? They might win that game 72-0 or something like that, but I'm not going to be playing it. I don't like those big spreads either.
Yeah, not only do I not want to bet it, I don't want to watch. Most bet college football games. Here we go. The most bet games for week 1, Colorado, as you mentioned, a lot of action on it. The Notre Dame game, Clemson, Georgia game. Those are the most bet games. You see all of it right there in front of you in terms of tickets and money. Still, the money, Colorado, the top bet. What do you think of the most bet games?
I feel pretty good going against the public. I'll take North Dakota State. I'm leaning Clemson, as we talked about, at A&M. So basically, I'm going against every most bet team. I'm taking the opposite team.
All right, let's go with underdogs. The most bet week 1 underdogs. Here they are: Notre Dame, North Dakota State, and West Virginia.
West Virginia, they can. I think they can hang around. I don't know if they can win outright. Notre Dame, not good enough price. You know what? That Colorado game, don't be surprised if they lose that game outright.
Wouldn't that be great? Honestly,
Wouldn't
that
it?
would just be.
I'd actually make my day.
I mean, that would just be fantastic if they lost to the Bison. Honestly, when we come back, we'll finally wrap up college football and get the Prime Minister's golf snags and compare them to Stewie's.
Yes.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
We're into a different regime, different ownership, different head coach. I like the head coach. Dan Quinn is a good football man. He has been around where he's been. They have won. Yes, he's had some talent there.
I'm incredibly excited for what this brings to the team. The defense, I think, is underrated. I think this is a good football team. And also, you talk about extending drives. I think Daniels has that ability. And that's something that hasn't been seen in Washington for quite some time.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We were just talking about all the people that we hate in the break. And
I love you, man. That's
right.
too good. Yes.
So let's go to the most bet college football totals for this week.
Yes.
I mean, we have covered every edge of this sandwich, haven't we? Here we go.
Yes.
Do we have the most bet college football totals graphic? No. Here we go. That's the underdogs. There's the underdogs. Now we have
totals.
The overs and unders, the totals. Here we go. Most bet overs tickets, Colorado and North Dakota State, the Clemson, Georgia, Akron, Ohio State. And the most bet unders, Notre Dame, A&M, Temple, Oklahoma, Fresno, and Michigan. Why would Fresno and Michigan be under? Michigan's going to score 50 themselves.
I kind of agree with you. And I also think that Notre Dame Texas line is a little bit light. I know they can play defense, but 46.5, like this isn't a CFL game here. As for the overs, this looks like we're walking into a trap. Like, I don't know anybody that likes the under in the Colorado game. Clemson, Georgia. Yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, Ohio State they could score 55, whatever in that game. So I kind of agree with these. I always want to be in the opposite side. I always want to be on the book side, not the public side.
All right, Heisman odds. We have, before the season started, here's the Heisman Trophy odds. Dylan Gabriel, the favorite, barely, over Carson Beck of Georgia. Quinn Ewers of Texas. And Milroe, Bama. Jackson Dart at Ole Miss. I think Jackson Dart's going to have a huge year at 12-1. I think he's got a shot.
Scotty, I'm going to take somebody off the board. Kansas State, Avery Johnson, the quarterback. That kid is amazing. He played his first game and just absolutely destroyed NC State. I look at their schedule. They can have a very good year. Watch out for this kid. 25-1. He's just below Leonard and those guys. Kansas State's quarterback. Watch this guy. He looks like Dave Mustaine from Megadeth. He's an animal.
I love Dave Mustaine and Megadeth, and I was just thinking of some of their songs while you mentioned that, but I don't have time to get into it. We'll do it next time when we're together.
Yes.
Shedeur Sanders does an NIL deal with Nike, also has deals with Gatorade, Google, Urban Outfitters, and EA Sports. Who needs to play pro football when you can make this much money playing college football? Also, the NCAA has proposed eliminating football's spring transfer window. If approved, this would leave December as the only transfer window for the sport. I also don't care about this. I don't care about the transfer portal in the spring and in Christmas. And I think the NIL and kids transferring 50 times in college has ruined college sports. And I don't care what you think of me. It's time to look at golf now from the eyes of the prime minister. And we start with, for the Tour Championship odds, the win only with starting strokes. Of course, Scotty Scheffler has a 2-stroke lead over Xander Schauffele, 3 over Matsuyama, Oberg's 5 back, Rory 6 back with Burns, of course. With the that was great, Stewie, with his nickname about
Bermuda Burns.
Bermuda Burns. You see the win only. Who do you like? Of course, Scheffler has blown it the last 2 years, starting with the lead.
I don't trust him. Xander Schauffele. So let's just say the unit's $100 there, Scotty. I'm gonna you put $60 on him, then I sprinkle on the other guys because they're starting from farther back. But I have a matchup bet too: Schauffele over Scheffler. I think Scheffler's in his head a little bit. He didn't play well last week, and Schauffele's my guy. Let's roll. Ludwig Aberg starts 5 shots back. Remember, we're 4 rounds. You can make up 5 shots in 1 round. Give him to me at 18-1. He finished second last week. Bermuda Burns, Keith. Stewart and Stewart, Burns and Burns. Give me Sammy Burns, LSU Tiger, 32-1, and a Georgia Bulldog home game for Russell Henley, 80-1. We're digging deep because Henley starts at -2. So if he makes up 8 strokes, we win at 80-1. That's a little bit of a sprinkle, Scott.
Don Henley wins the Tour Championship at that price. Fantastic. All right, here we go with 72-hole play, stroke winner without the starting strokes.
Correct, Scott. So Aberg, just whoever wins the tournament, like a regular tournament, 16-1. Bermuda Burns, see, we're getting a better number here, 22. That's a very realistic number. Henley again, see, he's so far back, 80, just regular tournament, 28. And I got Billy Horschel. So SEC country, this is what we talk about. Billy Horschel, Florida Gator. Russell Henley is a Georgia Bulldog. All those guys are SEC guys. Burns went to LSU.
Let's go to Cam's top finisher picks. The top 5 to finish in the top 5.
Yeah, well, Scott, we only got 30 guys this week. Me and Carver usually like 164 guys. We do top 30s and 40s. Not happening. Aberg, top 5 plus 140. I think he can win the whole thing. Colin Morikawa is a guy that people like. I'm not sure if he's going to get there. He'll be close, but I like him for a top 5 at plus 150. Sammy Burns looks good to me at plus 180. These are a great price. Adam Scott is playing the golf of his life right now. He looks rejuvenated and has won here back in 2006, if you could believe that. Plus 120. Russell Henley, as you said, plus 130 for a top 10. And Billy Horschel, the Florida Gator, plus 240 for a top 10. He's on fire, Scotty. Good point by you when you talk to Keith. Since Troon, this guy's been a top 5, top 10 machine. Excellent price.
And what about first-round leaders, Cam?
Here's the thing. I'm going to play this with the aggregate. Xander Schauffele, if he makes up 2 strokes on this guy, plus 250, I'm playing him. I think Scheffler moves back, and you're going to only take guys within 4 strokes. Keegan Bradley, 20-1, and Aberg's down 5. If he beats Scheffler by 5, that is a great bet at 28-1. But the play is Xander Schauffele at plus 250 for big units.
I mean, those are incredible plays. Obviously, do you put them on X? Do you put them on your X so people can see all your bets?
Sometimes. After today's baseball, I get a little bit gun shy. I don't want to give people losers, but we'll see how I feel later on tonight because these other games are going well. I'm on Seattle and Houston. Let's not get screwed this one up.
I recommend drinking a bottle of Grey Goose and then doing whatever you want with your golf picks. You'll be losing.
Actually, I'm looking at my phone. Liquor delivery? What? 6:32. Yeah, like that's for after the show tonight.
Asia Wilson had 42 last night, but lost. I had 36 in a game once and lost, and my son said, when you score 36 and lose, you suck. The WNBA has rescinded the tech that Taurasi was given last week to keep her from getting closer to suspension. I don't care anymore about Diana Taurasi, for Christ's sakes, and her technical foul.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
We're into a different regime, different ownership, different head coach. I like the head coach. Dan Quinn is a good football man. He has been around where he's been. They have won. Yes, he's had some talent there.
I'm incredibly excited for what this brings to the team. The defense, I think, is underrated. I think this is a good football team. And also, you talk about extending drives. I think Daniels has that ability. And that's something that hasn't been seen in Washington for quite some time.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
All right, leftovers time. LeBron says he's already told Bronny he's not allowed to call him dad while at the Lakers facilities. How cheesy is that? Sabalenka wins in straight sets at the U.S. Open. She did wink at me. It appears she has a crush on me. Uruguayan defender Izquierdo dies after collapsing during a match. How horrific. The Uruguayan defender drops dead on the pitch. Vinicius Jr. said he and his Real Madrid teammates are ready to walk off the pitch if he faces more racist abuse from fans in La Liga this season. I mean, the racism in soccer is so unbelievable. It really is. It's dramatic and it's insane. It's demented. It's unreal because there's so many races playing and the fans just hate everybody. They hate everybody. And they're pigs is what they are. The fans are absolute pigs. Yes, and MSG are joining to launch the Gotham Sports app, which will stream Yankees, Knicks, Nets, Devils, Rangers, and Islander games. The Gotham Sports app. I have heard it all. ESPN's Malika Andrews marries ESPN's Dave McMenamin over the weekend after they first met covering a Knicks game. They fell in love. Isn't that special? California shaman charged with sexual assault, including a victim under 14 years of age. Never been a big fan of trusting the shaman. But no offense to anyone. I don't ever want to mess with shamans. Reputed Peruvian gang leader arrested in New York as a suspect wanted for 23 killings in his home country. My man's a murderer. Reputed gang leader. New York City woman found dead with over 30 stab wounds alongside her boyfriend's lifeless body in a murder-suicide here in the city. California thieves strike 3 7-Eleven stores in 20 minutes under Gavin Newsom with his landmark package to curb smash and grab crime. The criminals did it just to mess with Newsom. My man Gavin, who's done my show several times. New York Instagram model blames party drugs and time travel for a crash that killed 2 in Miami. She blamed time travel for her crashing a car drunk and high and killing 2 people. She said she was traveling in time. I will say she was pretty hot, though. 40-year-old ex-cop convicted of raping a 13-year-old gets just 10 weekends in jail. He rapes a 13-year-old and got 10 weekends in jail. What is wrong with our country? There is a serial cable problem at Wasaga Beach in Ontario. The Prime Minister may have known more about that than me. People are evidently cabling in the beach, in the water, and everyone cannot go in the water. Same problem they had at the Seine at the Olympics. Cable Beach in Ontario. Air Force vet and his brother sentenced to notorious Dubai jail after they were drugged. They were drugged, but they're going to jail? How does that make sense? A Wisconsin teacher accused of making out with a fifth grader faces additional sex charges. Nothing like having your kid's teacher making out with your fifth grade student in the classroom in between classes. French kissing, no less. Former Olympic cyclist found dead inside her Vegas apartment days after choking on her food. I guess she was having a bad week. This is something not to laugh at. We have to take this seriously. The Olympic cyclist found dead after choking on her food, days after choking on her food. Somehow she got over it and then died later. Adventure-loving real estate agent killed after car goes off a 1,000-foot cliff as her dog walks away unscathed. She dies. The dog walks away with nothing wrong with it. Tennessee pair accused of locking an autistic child in a storage trunk in a filthy home covered in animal and human feces. Sounds like a great place to spend the weekend, like an Airbnb at the house where they lock up autistic kids and make sure that they're covered in animal and human fecal matter. Just an awful story. Ring camera users claim to have spotted and filmed UFOs zigzagging across the California skies. We're still doing UFO stories here on C2C. It's very important that we get all of that in. Arizona State business professor accused of fatally shooting his wife. These things happen all the time. GTD is next. Go to VerrellOnTheBench.com for everything else. And we'll see you again tomorrow at 3 on Coast to Coast.
Russell Wilson listed as quarterback 1 on, of course, every team's got to put out these dopey unofficial depth charts before their preseason games. Wilson listed as 1, but Fields is going to start the preseason opener against the Texans.
I still think they're going to start Wilson, but, if they start Fields, so be it. Like, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I know this. I think they're both talented.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
What is the ceiling for this kid? Now that he's got the money, and we saw something click with him, what is the ceiling for a Jordan Love in this Green Bay team?
Deepest pass target group in the National Football League, 2 stud tight ends. They're legit 5 deep at receivers, 7 bona fide pass targets. Come on, man. This guy could be a stud. Top 5 quarterback.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Say the under has the correct juice to the 6.5 win total for the New York Giants. It's a losing season. It's a bad season in the greater New York area. Is Brian Daboll and is Joe Shane back next year?
As a Giants fan, what are you looking forward to? Absolutely nothing. You're hoping like the Yankees make a long enough run so you can forget about the Giants.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf
Is it green light or red light that I'm looking at? Green.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes! Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.